So, my friends, I just under, just discussed with the metaphor of lane 1, lane 2, and lane 3. That is mind, intellect, and the lane 3 is nothing but the knowledge in the mind. So, as you continue the journey, what happens? You are able to discern. What is that discernment? What is that separation? Feeling likes and dislikes, impulses versus reasoning and knowledge and clarity. So when the mind is clear, it's moving always in the lane number 2. There is a problem. It may be because of likes and dislikes, it may be because of the feeling, it may be because of the impulses. Let us reason out, find out what is right and good. You are already jumping into the lane number 2 of the mind, that is the intellect, and the clarity comes. Then again, if we compare lane 1 and 2, uncontrolled versus controlled. Your thought, your speech, and action is very well controlled in lane number 2. Lane number 1, it is uncontrolled. Impulses. Lane number 1 is blind. Lane number 2 is open. You are able to perceive what is right and good. Lane number 1, again compare the two. Imagination versus the reality. Check. Again compare the tricks versus guide. Lane number 2 guides you. Lane number 1 tricks you. I have lot of problem. I could not sleep yesterday night. So now I am feeling trick. Misleads, lane number 1. Misleads versus leading. Comparison, conflict, confusion versus comfortable, carefree, and casual. All the time. Whatever the challenges we have in our life, we remain comfortable, we remain carefree, and we remain casual. Versus, lane number 1, comparison, conflict, confusion. So when you have a clarity, then what happens? You are ready to connect, contribute, and being grateful. That is what is the conventional methods. That is the conventional methods of the purity of the mind. And once we have the purity of the mind, that peace, happiness, and the real self, it reveals itself. We have been discussing about first yasna. We have discussed in detail. There are 5-6 types of yasna. We have charity, we discussed, and now we are talking about austerity, penance, japa means repetition of a particular mantra, or fifth is the vows, small promises that we do to ourselves, and sixth is the pilgrimage. I'm going to leave it. So now I want to compare again to make you understand. And then we have to go to the best method, the greatest method to purify the mind. Have you heard about Chat GPT? No. You can install and download into your computer. It is not in the mobile phone. We already know about Google. I'm just comparing, giving you a metaphor so that it makes really a sense to you and you will not forget. That is the job of a teacher, so that you pass on the knowledge so that you don't forget. So in Google, what happens that you search anything. You search US, so you have 1 million websites. So you have to click every site to know what information is there. That is what the Google search engine does. What the chat GPT does, so if you install it in your computer and you ask, can you tell me something about US? So it will give you a description, it will give you a text, a summary. And every time you write a question, it answers you, so you need not to search in the Google. Recently, it has started. So, but why I have brought this? Why I brought this? Can you imagine? Can you think of it? If you ask the question to the chat GPT, who am I? What I do every day? The chat GPT will answer, I like someone and then I am attached. I got frustrated because that guy left me, and then I started liking someone else. And my mind keeps on liking, creating the impulsive reaction every day, every moment. I wake up in the morning. Today I am frustrated because of the outer situation, condition in your life, and that is the way you live. Chat GPT is going to answer it. You do whatever you want to do. Today I am happy, tomorrow I am unhappy. Today I reacted and then I said sorry. And that has been continuing days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months. This chat GPT is going to answer about who you are. Imagination, lane number one imagines, how good I am. And the next moment, the same lane number one says, I'm frustrated, I hate, I react, I compare, I have a conflict, and that continues. That is why conventional methods helps us to purify the mind. Why the conventional method? It directly connects you to the world. Minus desire, minus expectation, minus comparison, minus conflict, minus confusion. You're living with your honey. It is bound to have the conflict and comparison. But now the mind, lane number one, is not working. Lane number two, the intellect is working, and it says, let us connect, contribute. One master, I don't remember, almost thousands of years, he is a great master. He wrote in the Upanishad that this conventional method is like working like a turtle. You know the turtle? Tortoise. The moment tortoise finds the danger, comparison, reaction, or someone is going to attack, what it does, it withdraws all its four legs, including his head, inside the cover, sits there. So he compared, remember, he compared that turtle withdrawing all the four legs and head. He compared that withdrawal of all the five sense organs, including the mind inside, moving it to the lane number two, not being impulsive, reactive, and then being comfortable, carefree, and casual to see the right situation and then act on it. You don't react, you act on it. That is what the conventional methods to purify the mind is. The moment you started withdrawal and then you are responding, rather than you react, compare and continue the journey of the mind in the same way I reacted to one person and today, then I said sorry, then I yesterday the same thing, tomorrow, day after tomorrow is the same thing. That continuity accumulates millions of impressions that will prevent the awakening and realization. Think, contemplate, and reflect. We have yet to move to the highest, the best method to purify the mind. But this conventional method must be applied. I'm living a personal life, a professional life, a social life, and a family life. So they should continue. They should continue until death. So not only it purifies the mind, but it also helps to live our worldly life in peace and happiness. There is another, let me take you to another wisdom that Master explains that do you ever ask that why I exist? I exist for few desires to compare, to react, to fight, to say sorry, or I exist to participate in the evolution of the entire as a human being. And then I set an example outside. That is another way to put the conventional methods, not only to purify the mind, but also to help myself and others in the process of evolution. If we compare daily life and especially the thoughts that enters into the mind in the lane number 1, it has an element of comparison, conflict, confusion, duality, reaction. Can I get rid of it? I need not to force, I need not to control the lane number 2, lane number 1. I have to move to the lane number 2, that is my intellect. I have to reason, find out the knowledge, remember how to connect, how to contribute, and how to be grateful. You are participating in the existence. The ego does not take over us. And that ego is the cause of the delusion. I just, in the very beginning, I told you, imagination, lane number 1, reality, lane number 2. Imagination includes the delusion, conflict, and confusion. That very process helps us to avoid, to diffuse the stressful situation and conditions in everyday life. It's not that we are. So now coming to the main topic of the today, there's another master who compressed and who said we have two options in the existence in the world. He uses the word bhoga and upvarg. Bhoga is that this existence for me, this existence is for pleasure. Let me get all kinds of pleasure from the worldly life, whether it's a material, personal, professional, social, and family life. The moment I think, just think, the moment I think any object is a means for my pleasure, my mind is constantly moving in lane number 1. And the other option, the word is used as upward. So every object, every situation, every person here with whom I am living is for my evolution. One gets angry, let me have an endurance. Maybe in the beginning we may react, but ultimately, if you remember that it can teach me an endurance, it can teach me the patience, I can guarantee you that 90% of the divorce cases will come to an end. But until one has to reach to this level, we have been doing it for a couple of years, conflict will come to an end. So when someone asks, can you help me? Yes, I can help you, but you have to reach to that state. You become the seeker. So see that you wake up in the morning, the first thing is that my honey, my son, my children, my friends, my enemies, my profession is for the sake of my evolution today. Let me evolve today by connecting, contributing, and being grateful. What normally happens? We wake up in the morning, yesterday we had a fight, and those impressions continues. So when those impressions continues, the lane number one creates an imagination. What is that imagination? Even with whom you did not fight, mind imagines, look at him or her, ah, he or she is standing to just react to me, fight with me. I will also do it. Just mere imagination. So, imagination, impulsive nature, comparison, conflict in the confused mind in the lane number two continues to accumulate the impressions, it veils the real self. And that is why we don't have a belief that there is a real self. There is a peace and happiness in the world. Then don't forget the chat GPT. You ask the question, it will give you a couple of paras about you that says that I have been repeating the same thing again and again, days after days. I have started thinking in the same way. One more point here. First thing to be very clear, this existence, this world outside, where I am born, with whom I am living, the situation that I have is going to help me evolve. Let me find out how it can evolve me. That is one aspect. Second aspect, otherwise, the mind is always busy. In comparison, in reaction, you did wrong, I did right, you did right, I did the wrong, and I'm sorry, today also and tomorrow also, and we continue living our life in that state. I'm not going there. It has physical, mental, and emotional toll in our life. Conventional methods brings a sense of emotional freedom, calmness, joy, which is not possible when I see the entire world, every situation, condition, person, objects, my possessions for the sake of pleasure. Because the pleasure is delusion, pleasure is not outside. Pleasure is experienced in my mind based on my like. I like someone, so I am with that person, it gives me the pleasure. Tomorrow I dislike that person, the pleasure is gone. So it means the pleasure is not present outside. One example. We'll talk in detail about it. What are the conventional methods? Again, I'm repeating, I'm thinking, I'm speaking, I'm acting, guided by how to connect, how to contribute, how to be grateful. The lane number one says, this doesn't work for me. You have to work through the lane number two. You leave the lane number one as it is. So in that category, three more conventional methods. One is the austerity. I discussed a bit about it. Second is the vows, the small promises that we make to ourselves. You wake up in the morning, yesterday you had a fight, and now you had those impressions. Lane number one is repeating it. Take a small vow. I'm not going to speak until mind you calm down. You promise to yourself. See what happens. You hold yourself like a turtle. Withdraw yourself. Lane number one will definitely push you, force you. Terry was saying that now I don't become angry over maid. And the third is the japa, a repetition of the mantra. Whether you pick up any mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shanti, Shantoham, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavtu. How to apply it? You wake up in the morning, you had the same, lane number one creates a conflict and it wants to go out with the heat of an anger, with the heat of an anxiety, with the heat of the reaction. It has come out. Now what will happen to the mind? Then people come to me, how to manage my relationship. No, first you manage your mind. You see the conventional method? Think, just think. I had an anxiety and a reaction and the reactive thoughts about you. Where they are located? They are located in my mind. So I have to change my mind first. How to change that mind? By thinking. So the moment you start thinking, you switch on to the lane number two. You are not fighting with those crazy, reactive, negative thoughts about a person that is moving in the lane. Let it move. That is the meaning of living in a moment. Otherwise, now, see, you are in stress, live in a moment, so you continue to live in a stress. I have to discern, I have to understand that. What it means by living in a moment. Conventional methods help us to live in that. Austerity. Last time we discussed that I feel the heat in a negative way and I feel the warmth. I also feel the heat of the warmth to connect, to contribute. I'm trying my best to make you understand. I feel the heat in the pure emotion of the mind. I feel the heat of warmth. I feel the heat of to connect, how to contribute. Then you only respond, you do not react. When you only respond, you have started purifying the mind. When you only react, we already know it. So what happens gradually and progressively? It's a journey. It will not happen one day. You may miss today, but you may not miss tomorrow. You may miss in a situation today, but in the next moment, you find the situation dissolves much faster than the feeling of reaction. Any situation outside. situation dissolves much faster and the reaction in the mind continues. You are a non-seeker. And if the feeling in the mind evaporates much faster than the situation, you are a seeker. Do you understand that? Yes, say yes. The situation, situation or a person outside, anything outside, existence, world outside. What it means, your mind has reacted to someone, that person is gone, the mind keeps on reacting. Still it is in a reaction mode. You are not a seeker. That is the meaning. So I have to look back to myself. Did I forget? What did I forget? And if the reaction in the mind evaporates much faster than the situation, the person is still there with whom the mind reacted. Now the mind is ready to respond. How much time it takes? Tell me. It demands only an awareness. And if you remember to connect, can I connect with the reaction or can I connect with the response? Purification of the mind is essential. Last point, there are many ways, and we will talk in detail later, but under the austerity or the penance, you do deep meditation. Recommendation from many masters. It means, I reacted to someone today. It is going to happen. Nobody can be totally devoid of reaction because it is based on the past impression. So, one austerity is that the deep meditation. What is deep meditation? You practice meditation not only once but 2, 3, 4 times and check every time that the mind has calmed down. You are ready to respond. So you will recognize. Second is that solitude. Don't compare the solitude with the loneliness. You are being alone. Being alone means all is one. Loneliness means that mind still desires something from outside. I am not getting it, that is why I am lonely. And being alone, all is one. Mind is not seeking anything from outside. That is the meaning of the solitude. Included in this as a sub-part of the purification of the mind is the japa, the repetition of the mantra consciously with the meaning. So that the heat of the negative emotion replaced by the heat of pure emotion. Emotion is the same. Energy is the same in anger and the love. Energy is the same in response and reaction. This is what the master talks about in terms of the austerity. We will understand, perhaps one more topic is left. It is a self-management program. Self-management includes emotional management. You can raise your EQ. I'm not talking of that. You can help manage your daily stress. You can get out of those anxiety moments. You can get out of those reactions. But they all come under the heading of conventional methods to purify the mind. Close your eyes, my friends. Thank you for listening. I should also contribute here. So, eyes are closed. Eyes are closed, body, position of the body. Here also you check. Is the mind reacting? Going into meditation? Meditation will not be successful. Just think. I'm asking you to always live in the lane number 2. The life is going to be different. within few weeks. Every day we find some change. Position of the body. You are comfortable? Very good. Eyes are closed? Yes, you are aware. Then, looking at the neck joint being there, I believe you remember how much struggle you do in order to be comfortable, or there is no struggle. There is no struggle, you are a seeker. There is a struggle, you are becoming a seeker. So looking at the neck joint being there, feeling the sensation, comfort and steadiness, my friends. Then we also discussed that the mind moves into the space. Knowledge does not have any shape in the size and the color. I'm just making you aware. You know it, but I'm making you aware. Knowledge is just pure awareness. We are equating it with the space. Shoulder joints being there, feeling and experiencing. You see that your mind moves from the physical, that is the shoulder joint, to a mental experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Who recognizes it? Intellect, where it lives. Layer number two. It's just a shift. How faster you shift. When you do these apply these conventional methods in the life, you instantly, within a fraction of a second, change takes place. And then the space, awareness of the entire body. You see, I have been using the same being comfortable, being carefree since the beginning of this journey. But it is the knowledge that gives you a new perspective. Awareness of the entire body, physical. Then experience, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is in the mind. Now I want to go deeper. The space, awareness of the space. What is the no? So when your mind lives into that awareness, mind is living into the knowledge. I have added one more thing. Knowledge does not have any shape, size, color, weight. So now link it with the live in a moment. You got the clue. When now being carefree, we know it, being carefree. The lay number says, no, I will teach him a lesson. No, I have to connect, contribute. Now see that? So you are aware. So being carefree, I discussed before, as a step that free from all the cares of the mind. Lay number one always wants to care, but it always cares impulsively, emotionally, negatively, comparative, with comparison, with conflict, with confusion. Is there any need to compare conflict? Answer is no. So lay number two says, I'm not worthy of suffering. Why? Because I witness all the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts that are coming and going. Don't you think it's such an easy way to migrate, to move from one state to the other? And then we will continue. We are still continuing with the mantra Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Let everyone be happy or in the state of well being. Both are okay. And then we go to the knowledge. Pay attention. Knowledge does not have a shape, size. Intellect understands it. Let everyone. So that is what the contemplation reflection is. Everyone be happy. Why? Happiness is the essential nature. You see that the thought is the product of knowledge. So we are exploring that. Oh, happiness is essential nature. Why? How can you say? Everyone is seeking happiness. Whether they know it or they do not know it. Mosquito doesn't know it. Elephant doesn't know, but they don't know consciously. That is the meaning. I know it consciously and still I'm too far from the peace. And then you calm down. There is no thinking. So that knowledge of the state of happiness settles in the mind. That weakens the forces of the lane number one. You're not fighting, you're not reacting, you are not controlling, you are not suppressing. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for all. So when peace for all, you are moving outside in the existence for the sake of peace. Look at it. That is the beauty and the power of these conventional methods. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness in all, wholeness, holiness. Don't take your mind to the rites and rituals and customs and dogma and belief. Holiness means that real self is complete in itself, independent. Why it is independent? It is pure consciousness. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Auspiciousness means this moment is auspicious. How? Because the mind is in lane number two. You don't create auspiciousness. You discover that auspicious moment present all the time, in all locations, in all relationship, in the existence. A reminder again, knowledge is just a pure awareness. It does not have any color, shape, size. Now looking deep inside the forehead in the space, gently drop Om Shanti. Done. Body remains steady and start breathing quick and fast from the chest. The first breathing. Your chest expands and contracts, body remains fairly stable, and the mind continues with Om Shanti inside the forehead in the space. Just continue. Objections of the mind, lane number 1. So you recognize the objections coming from the lane number 2, lane number 1. And just think, let me continue and see what happens. That is the way to purify the mind. Just continue. We are again doing 3 minutes each breath. And stop this. Do nothing. Experience. All experiences takes place in the mind when you are conscious. You may experience sensation, relaxation, stillness. You may have certain experiences of some visions and colors. That's not okay. But you may feel more energy. Everything is okay. Keep on doing Om Shanti, and now start with the belly breathing. This is the longer breath goes into the belly. This is little deeper breath. When you inhale, the belly goes out. When you exhale, the belly goes in. Continue expansion, contraction of the belly. Body remains steady. You are dropping Om Shanti inside the forehead in the space. You are leaving no chance not to prevent the lane number 1 to return with its same repeated thoughts again and again. That is why Master beautifully says, desire is the impurity of the prana in the mind. So we are changing the prana. So the mind becomes pure. That is the method. deep, longer breath. And stop this, do nothing, experience the change. A sense of freedom. We experience a sense of calmness. Calmness or peace is a sense of freedom. Definitely supported by variety of experiences of tingling or numbness, more energy, refreshing. Everything is okay. We just maintain an awareness. What is awareness? Knowledge. Does the knowledge has any shape, size, color? No. Well, and now start breathing both from the belly and the chest. It is long, deep. You inhale both from the belly and the chest. Om Shanti continues. Only the belly and the chest moves, the rest of the body remains steady. You're conscious of inhaling into the belly and the chest, and then and stop this, do nothing. living into that beautiful state and experience. Start breathing deep, silent, and slow. As you inhale, move the mind from the crown of the head, singing Om Shanti. Your inhalation stops, so your Shanti stops at when the mind is present at the tailbone. Now exhale, mind goes up in the spine, singing Om Shanti. So the Shanti comes to an end to the crown of the head. But the breath is deep, silent, and slow. And why? Perhaps I answered that. Why? When you are breathing deep, silent, and slow, you raise mental awareness. Comes with it is an attention. So that is why I'm not using the word focus. So, how to gain so called focus or continuity of attention? Forget about that you have to struggle and make an effort to focus. You just do deep, silent, slow breathing with Om Shanti and recalling these 2 points, crown of the head and the tailbone. That will do on its own. And stop this. Go to move the mind inside the cave of the heart. Recognize the triangle pointing upward. Moving the mind on each side of a triangle, clockwise and anti-clockwise, dropping Om Shanti. Now the entire journey totally depends on you. So you're moving the mind on the triangle, checking the sync is perfect. And when the sync is perfect, then push the mind with Om inside the cave of the heart. Mind seemingly stops, drop Shanti, and self-absorption, emptiness, blankness, whatever your mind wants to express, everything is okay. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness. You see the knowledge, how it acts? That is why I say bring your awareness or the mind on the right hand. So action is outside and knowledge is there. Doesn't have any shape in the form. Awareness on the right hand, awareness of the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. It's been a lesson of basically laughing at myself because it truly became a play and fun as you refer to it, because I always enjoy your metaphors, as I've told you that before. And I'm sitting here thinking about lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, and you talk about waking up in the morning and starting your day, and and you start out in that lane 1, and I'm sitting here going, yeah, but I want to start my day in lane 2. But logically, how can I start my day in lane 2? Because we, in the mind, have to go through lane 1 to get to lane 2. And then I said to myself, hello, it's a metaphor. You could start wherever you want.
Yes.
So I eliminated the whole idea of it and go, all right, I need to just start my day and live in lane 2 and get to lane 3 as I'm supposed to and be aware of lane 1 and so on and so forth. So as the meditation went on, I went through the breathing. I just felt this sense of peace and happiness, and I believe a smiling within myself throughout the entire meditation. And it's just great. So thank you.
Yes, you beautifully explain, and that's why I always pick you up. But you, sometime I could see that, not sometime, but every time you explain the concept much better than I do. So the most beautiful thing that it's a matter of remembrance. I'm recalling the words of Stephen that you wake up in the morning. Are you aware to live your life? First thing. Second thing, lane number 2. Lane number 1 will continue to object, to react. It will remain present sometime for a couple of weeks and months. It does not go easily. Beautiful. Thank you, Stephen. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning, sir. Thank you. Yeah, it was a great, it's so powerful, the metaphor of the lanes, yet so simple. And I realized I'm just going to hang out in lane 2. And I got to a point where I observed myself sometimes slipping into lane 1, but I was observant of it, and I was able to bring myself back into lane 2 and hang out there. And then I believe I started going to lane 3, because what I noticed is my breath slowed way down, like way down.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time in lane 2 and 3.
Lane,
thank you.
That's beautiful. You see that? You hang out in the lane number 2. I'm just using his expression. He also does the same expression. And second thing, the lane number 1 will continue to return. Why? We have trillions of impressions accumulated in the mind. And once we will understand that why this happens, we are going there, we are following that teaching. And what is the lane number three? Is the knowledge. Does the knowledge has any shape, size? No. So what is it? It is just an awareness. Just an awareness. And that goes a long way in a right manner. And that helps us to realize what our masters have been saying. Thank you. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I had a very similar experience as the mind kind of just looked at it and encapsulated it as I live in knowledge. And so with the knowledge, that's how I deal with lane one.
Yeah.
I just always am in the knowledge, rooted in the knowledge. So I'll know what to do. I don't have to worry about it or think about it or label it or anything else. It just, when it comes up, I know what to do. And I just, like, it's my best friend. My knowledge is my best friend.
That's beautiful. That's another metaphor. Knowledge is my best friend, and that knowledge is awareness. That knowledge is consciousness. And that is where we are heading to. It's a beautiful way to present that knowledge. Knowledge is my best friend. Even if you remember this, you can easily switch on. Oh, I'm reacting. Oh, is this the right knowledge? No. The moment you say no, you are already aware of the lane number two. Do you see that? That is the exact way to understand living in a moment. That is where we are heading to. Thank you, Jerry. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thanks. My body's presenting some problems this morning, so it was really useful for me to hear you say that so-called focus, because I was able to see the vacillation between the body saying we have this problem and feeling bodilessness, and that's so remarkable to be able to get like that quickly. Just depending on where how you let the shift happen, you can experience that. So
Beautiful.
it was, yeah, thank you.
Beautiful, Brandy. You see one thing, do you see that why we all share our experiences openly? So that everyone's mind picks up one aspect. Brandy has picked up that aspect of the focus and the attention. So what I said, if you remember, your mind is wandering, you just lie down or sit and start breathing deep, silent and slow. Ask the mind to pay attention to the tagline: deep, silent and slow. Your attention will return. Wandering mind will stop. That is what perhaps Stephen Sam was saying yesterday. That the breathing helped him. He was hammering. Yes, so that is beautiful. Beautiful. You pick up anything, and from there you pick up everything. You pick up one aspect of the teaching of these masters. I'm not teaching. You should be very clear that this knowledge comes from the teaching of our great masters. So, how are you, Anesthesia?
Thank you. I'm good. It was a deep and calm meditation, and thank you for this metaphor today. I've noticed I did a mistake. I started my day with news. I mean, politics and
Yeah.
so on and so on, and then my mind started to react, and I was terrified, like I'm in this plateau. I did a lot of work, I mean, inside, and it looked like nothing changed at all because I had a lot of feelings, fighting, fear, and then I just switched my perception, like between layers. It was like entering in the wrong room, and I just changed the room, and everything got calm. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's a another beautiful explanations. Beautiful
And I
explanation.
want to thank you very much for this YouTube channel because it helps me so much when I am struggling. I just listen repeatedly your
Yeah.
lessons, and it's like a way to another room.
Yes, yes, away to another room. So her metaphor is that in one room it is lane number one, another room is the lane number two. That is what she is explaining. That another way, not individual mind can have the everything. Every teacher recognizes that in the tradition. I can use the different metaphor. So when you do the practice, you deepen your experience, you move into the deeper level of awareness, and you come out with a different way. But I want to make a point here that is very important. I have also to become aware when I wake up in the morning where my mind puts my body. Means what is the first action that I take comes from the mind. So her mind said, okay, let us see what is happening in the world. Come on, look at what is happening in you. What is happening in me? What is happening in me is a reflection of my action that I'm going to take outside. Are you getting it? Did I explain it better? So whatever the action that I'm going to take first action when I wake up in the morning is the reflection of my mind. Is coming from my mind. Because without mind I cannot take an action. So mind has some fear and anxiety. Let us see what is the news, and then mind will follow the lane number one. And you did the right thing. Wonderful. Everyone is explaining so beautifully. I appreciate that. How are you, Barbara?
Is my microphone working?
Yes, we heard your
Wonderful.
voice.
Wonderful. I'm doing very well, and the meditation was beautiful. It was peaceful and joyous. And I just wanted to say, yesterday I had a particularly frustrating situation with the speaker and my computer, and I managed to stay in lane number 2, and I dealt with it, and I dealt with it in peace, and it was great.
Do you see that? I'm so happy. Everyone is getting, from some point of view, it's not my fault that the sound is not working. It's a computer fault. You see, that thinking puts you into the lane number 2.
Mhm.
Terry,
Yes.
it's a made fault. It's not your fault. Why should I be angry? How are you, Terry?
I'm calm, and I was able to do the breathing.
Good.
I worked on it yesterday, and I listened to lessons, older lessons on Spreaker, and it's just dark and quiet, but I want to say that I also sometimes have feeling thoughts of fears and stuff.
Lane number 1.
They're just like you say, the unwanted thoughts that are coming about things that could happen, but they're not actually happening right now. And I have to keep reminding myself, these are thoughts, it's not actually happening.
You are perfectly right. Lane number 1 has all the thoughts, negative emotions, crazy impressions. So I need not to fight with them. Switch on to the lane number 2. Move to the another room, as Anastasia was saying.
Yes.
As David was saying, that I continue to live in lane number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That is more important. So
Yes, so it does help to listen to these
yeah,
older lessons.
yes, continuous listening. Listening means thought. So what thought you are listening, you are putting into your mind, belongs to the lane number 2.
Uh-huh.
Whatever I talk that does not contain any fear, anxiety, duality, conflict, and reaction. So obviously they are the thought. They settle into your lane number 2, you are done.
And that's how the mantra works also.
Even the mantra.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I will just do the japa meditation. We will do 2 meditation next time on Monday. That is the time has come to introduce. So how are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good, calm, was absorbed, very peaceful.
Very peaceful. I could see your face. That's beautiful. Just tell your dad, look at my face. How are you, Samir?
Sir, it was very calm, and in the end, it was like that my shadow is penetrating inside me. Means I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of experience it was, but it was like that my shadow is penetrating inside me at the end of the meditation. But it was very peaceful, and I was calm at the end of the meditation.
Yes, that is also the metaphor used by many masters, that shadow has to do with the mind and it's all the impressions. So it is getting dissolved deeper within. Obviously, that takes us to a deeper state. Very good. How are you? Only one. Sangeeta, how are you?
सर बहुत पीसफुल था और सर एक ग्रेटिट्यूड का भाव आता है
Very good.
आपके लिए है और सर फेस पे अपने आप स्माइल आ जाती है
Very
मेडिटेशन
good.
करते हुए स्माइलिंग हो
She finds that the smile appears naturally on her face. She remains very calm. And there is a sense of gratefulness is always present. I will not translate what you said, that you are grateful to me. No, you should be grateful to the existence. So, so look at it. I'm so happy. Everyone shared their experiences. I think we covered everyone. It is going on. Constant listening, doing the practice, reflecting on it, repeating it. Ultimately, mind starts realizing that I can live into that state 24/7. So we are very close. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.